The Jays have found a secret weapon, and we all knew that at the time of the Yusei Kikuchi trade that it seemed like the Jays came out very, very well. This trade is working out better than any Jays fan could have imagined, and one specific player could be huge for the Jays going forward and could be their secret weapon for the next several years. So I'm going to break down exactly who that is, because who the player is might surprise you. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we do, we have a quick message from our sponsor of today's video, Fum. Are you trying to kick a bad habit to the curb? If so, you need to check out Fum. Have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement towards better habits led by the sponsor of today's video, Fum. Fum has a lot of delicious flavors to choose from crisp mint to cinnamon hearts. They have a flavor just for you. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, no vapor, and no combustion. Fum has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story.
And for a limited time, use our code DIGEST to get your free topper. It's the perfect accessory to your Fum device. Slip it onto a mouthpiece for a softer, warmer feel. It's chewable for those who love to fidget, and it's reusable. Head to tryfum.com. That's tryfum.com and use code DIGEST or scan the QR code on screen to get your free Fum topper when you order your Journey Pack today.
And thank you to Fum for sponsoring this video. Thank you once again to Fum for sponsoring this one. Check them out in the pinned comment and the description as well. But let's just dive right into the video today. And obviously, we know the Yusei Kikuchi trade was, like I mentioned earlier, seemed like a fleece at the time. But one of the players in the trade, and he was at the time, of course, the headliner of the deal, is Jake Bloss. And he has gotten off to a red-hot start for the Buffalo Bisons. And we're going to break down kind of the whole package of the deal. Obviously, Will Wagner has been one of the best players as well, and we could have had a whole video about him. But we're going to focus on Jake Bloss today because he's started pitching for the Buffalo Bisons, and this guy could be the Jays' secret weapon going forward. So let's just dive right into it. We look at his starts. He's now pitched a few games with the Buffalo Bisons and has still yet to give up a run in the Buffalo Bisons uniform. He has pitched 9 2/3, 6 hits, 0 runs, 8 strikeouts. And obviously, he's not a huge strikeout pitcher. 5 walks, a 0 ERA. Unbelievable. And I've been keeping up, and most Jays fans have been, with Jake Bloss. We were excited for his first start. He didn't give up an earned run, and I think it was 4 2/3, and then his another start, and then another start. He, through a couple of starts, has been very, very good, and he's been, quite frankly, dominant. And coming into the trade, Jake Bloss was the headliner of the deal. He's moved into the top 3 of the Toronto Blue Jays' top 30 prospects, according to MLB Pipeline. And this is a guy that many Astros fans at the time of the trade, and shout out to Yusei Kikuchi because he has been really giving the Astros their money's worth for that trade. He's been pitching very, very well for them, and I'm sure Astros fans are happy. But at the same time, Jake Bloss was a guy who was already pitching for the Astros in the majors, were struggling a little bit. But the Jays, they got a pitcher, and he could be a borderline frontline starter, probably a 2 to a 3 starter for the future for this team. And he has been unreal. We have some other things to go over in today's video as well. But you look at the trade, and the Astros landed Yusei Kikuchi, and they sent 3 players to the Jays. We know that that trade involved, of course, Jake Bloss, who at the time was their number 9 prospect, and this was before the rankings were done up. You have rookie outfielder Joey Loperfido, and you have minor league infielder Will Wagner. And again, Will Wagner, we can have a whole video on him. He is crazy. We'll go into some of the things he said. He's been absolutely dominant. He's super calm. He's just been an unbelievable player for the Jays. And he's also probably going to be, whether it's a bench player, whether it's an everyday second baseman, whatever it ends up being, he's going to be a great player going forward. But you're looking at Jake Bloss, and he, again, had the highest, probably one of the higher ceilings of any player the Jays acquired at the deadline. And of course, we look at the Jays' starting pitching prospect. You think about Nate Pearson, who flared out and ultimately got traded to the Cubs. You think about Ricky Tiedemann, Brandon Barriera, both those guys who are dealing with injuries right now. And hopefully, Ricky Tiedemann can come back, hopefully, and be a very good pitcher in 2025 and maybe make his MLB debut in 2026. But the point here is that they were lacking in the pitching front. And quite frankly, obviously, the prospect pool is a bit rough, and to get a guy like Jake Bloss, who's slated into their number 3 or the top 3 prospect rankings and has been absolutely dominant, has yet to give up a run, is just, it's a testament to how well the Jays did in this trade. And I genuinely believe that Jake Bloss can be a secret weapon for the Toronto Blue Jays going forward. And he probably won't be that secret once he makes his MLB debut. And the reason for that is that you look at his pitch, he doesn't have anything that is he doesn't throw 99 miles an hour, but he has unbelievable control, and he's just, he was a guy that, again, like I mentioned, if you were obviously, at the time of the trade for the Astros, if you talked and you looked on Twitter, you talked to Astros fans, you looked on the Astros Reddit, they were so upset that they gave up Jake Bloss because this was the guy who was supposed to be a pitcher of their future. And it's very hard to find pitchers who can, even to find a number 5 starter is pretty hard these days, but getting a number 2 starter, a number 3 starter for a rental was an absolute masterclass by Ross Atkins. And I just want to give him some credit for finding this guy because at the time, not many Jays fans knew about Jake Bloss, and now he's going to be their secret weapon going forward. He's going to be one of the best pitching prospects that the Jays have had in a very long time. And if you pair this up with a Ricky Tiedemann who hopefully gets healthy, and then you have some other guys in the system as well, you could really start to build and retool, we'll say, your front line starter. Because Ricky Tiedemann has the ceiling of a frontline starter. Jake Bloss probably has the ceiling of a number 2 starter for years to come. And then you're building around. You still have José Berríos for 4 more years. And you have some other guys as well. So very interesting. And that's not even to count Bowden Francis, who's been unbelievable as of late as well. So there's a lot to be excited about here. And I'm very curious to see what you guys think about Jake Bloss because through his first few starts, he has been absolutely dominant. And you look around the MLB here, and the Jays, like even just the Jays young players, like Will Wagner, another guy. I want to talk about some of the other guys the Jays got. Unbelievable so far. Obviously has exceeded every single expectation. He got put in the 4-hole. He just gets hits every single game, and he's going to adjust to the MLB. The MLB is going to adjust to him, and it's going to be interesting to see how he claps back after the MLB adjusts to him because we've seen with David Schneider, he's been struggling ever since the MLB and the pitching staff of other teams have adjusted to him. But Will Wagner's a guy who was a Jays number 19 prospect, and he has just been absolutely dominant this year for the Toronto Blue Jays and been a very bright spot in a season that was lost of that. But another guy we had to talk about, of course, we talked about Jake Bloss already, and he's really, really good, is Charles McAdoo. We'll probably have a full video on him. We had a video on him a few days ago. He has gotten off to a crazy start, approaching a 1,000 OPS with the AA New Hampshire team for the Toronto Blue Jays, the AA affiliate. He's been crazy. You're looking at the prospects that the Jays got, and this is not a video to gas up Ross Atkins because we had a video a couple days ago I had a video a couple days ago that really not ripped into him, but I'm still not on the side that he should continue to be the Jays GM necessarily. But this trade deadline is turning into an absolute, at least so far, masterclass for the Toronto Blue Jays and Ross Atkins because Charles McAdoo for IKF, McAdoo has the ceiling of an elite hitter in this league, a huge power hitter. He's absolutely going to factor into the Blue Jays team, whether that's next year or the year after. He's been dominant. You have Jake Bloss, who's been dominant in the AAA Bison so far, and you have Will Wagner, who's been, guess what, absolutely dominant at the major league level. So I just wanted to revisit that a little bit and just discuss how important Jake Bloss has been to the Buffalo Bisons. And yes, it's only 9 innings. He could start to flare out a little bit, but we've seen that he's been dominant across the minor leagues the entirety of his career. And now that he's has the ability to refine his craft a little bit more, not get rushed up. He was rushed up with the Astros a little bit to the major league staff because of their injuries to their starting rotation. The Jays don't have to rush him up too much, but I would not be surprised if we see Jake Bloss in a Blue Jays uniform pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays very soon. And Atkins came out a couple weeks ago saying that is their plan. And if he continues to pitch like this, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to see him very, very soon. And it'll be interesting to see how the Jays' secret weapon, who's not going to turn so secret very soon, will perform. But that'll wrap it up. And thank you once again to Fum for sponsoring this one. We'll see you guys soon.